Every comic is someone's first. Stan Lee said this a long time ago, and to this day it stands as one of my favourite quotes the guy's ever said. Not just because of how profound it is in terms of just comic books, but how true it is for nearly any type of media. Every comic is someone's first. So is every video game, every movie, every book, and you guessed it, that's where we're going today, every anime. When I look at Reddit, Tumblr, or even Kotaku, I see everyone asking questions like how to get your mother, brother, girlfriend, whatever into anime. And over the years, everybody's already got their own special plethora of answers. There's people who recommend their favourites, there's those who'll opt to only show them the most critically acclaimed series they can find, and there are those who'll stick to recommending the so-called gateway anime. You know the ones, the Bebops, the Death Notes, the Becks. Just get anime at its least animeist and we're good to go showing it off to the normals. You can see where I'm going with this. I don't think those shows are bad by any stretch of the word.
Oh god, the Spec Dragon.
And if those shows have gotten people you know into anime, great, you've done your part. But let's look at that phrase I said at the beginning. Every comic is someone's first. Now I want everyone watching this video to think back to the first anime they remember following. And I mean real anime, we're not talking about Pokemon or Digimon here.
Alright, anyone who's thinking of the following series, GTFO, you weeaboo twats.
Jokes, one love for all. Now, especially those who subscribe to the gateway anime myth, yes, that's what I just called it, I'll explain why later. Think to yourself, is the first show you watched something you think would rope anyone into anime, or did it just happen to tickle enough of your fancies to give the rest of the medium a go? The thing is, when people pick series to recommend to people, I notice them choosing series that are mature, serious, and grown up. And I see the need to think that way, especially if you're trying to get an older person into anime. In particular, older people who have a set idea of what cartoons are. But I'm not talking about those people. If you feel like your parents aren't down for something light-hearted and fun like Haruhi, or down for some samurai madness like in Champloo, you can stick to showing them stuff like Monster and the like. But that's where I draw the line. See, as I said, I'm not talking about showing your parents anime. I'm talking about showing regular people anime, and I don't mean your parents aren't regular people. I mean, when I say regular people, whatever, I mean teenagers and young adults. I've been told things like, you can't show newbies that, it's too over the top, or you can't show people this, they won't get it. And this is where it starts to irritate me a bit. I mean, why is it up to us, the guys who are already in the rabbit hole, to get other people in? If you have someone you want to share anime with, that's fine. And there's always the mental assessment approach for that. But otherwise, let everyone have their first anime. Let every anime be someone's first. And here's a little quandary. What happens when they're done with Bebop? Okay, and after they're done with that? What if they want to see something more modern? You know, you can't suggest 90s anime forever. Sooner or later they're gonna have to jump into their first ecchi, or their first mecha, or physics-defying shonen. Okay, now for anyone who's actually into comic books here, this is basically the equivalent of introducing somebody to comics with Watchmen, and then having them read something like Civil War. Okay, you see this? This is a show called Hyaka Ryoran Samurai Girls. It's literally just Ikitosen with swords. Better than that show, actually. This is one of the few gems I picked up during my ecchi phase of otakudom. A series which has been swept away by the public anime consensus, and has rested in my heart as a guilty pleasure. You see, shows like this, and others similar to it, see Bento for a similar example, are things I would have never seen if I had someone holding my hand through the anime lane. This is a crazy world we're in love with. There are millions of anime that anyone can start with. Any one anime can be a gateway anime. Well, any one anime should be a gateway anime. See, here's where things get complicated. Stan Lee's quote was intended as a double-sided coin. He was stating that any comic could be someone's first comic, but was also implying that because of this, comics shouldn't be so obsessed with fan-wanking long-time readers at the cost of appealing to newcomers. Anime has had this problem for a while now. Every year, more and more series are being released with the sole purpose of being able to pander to hardcore otakus. Not the us otakus. I'm talking about the futaba lurking, MMD making, Nico trolling otakus. Didn't I say in my first vid that this would be confusing? Now, if you know me personally, you're probably thinking, oh no, he's getting the moe hate stick out again. Well, yes and no. K-On! Is actually a harmless series in terms of pandering. Is it a boring as hell, overrated and over-budgeted cake and tea expose? Well, I'll just let you guess what I think about that. The problem I'm seeing with more and more anime nowadays isn't a general lack of quality, and I'm also not saying that nothing good has come out in the last few years. But all of you who watch Gigok probably know that there's been a rise in cash grab, easy to make moe blob K-On! Clones, coupled with obscure otaku niche driven series. You'll keep me here all day if you're looking for examples, but I'll just put up an image or two of a few series I think fit this bill, and then you'll understand what I mean. So, as it stands, there are two glaring issues with getting people into anime. Firstly, people are too cautious to show newcomers the bare bones of the medium for fear of driving them away. And makers in Japan are too set in their ways making easy cash grab pandering shows.
Ah, but Nino, you forget one thing. Even if the pandering shows are someone's first, if they like what they see, despite the references, then we're set. And why bother so hard with finding the perfect first anime for someone who wasn't even going to fall into anime in the first place?
You see this? This right here? This right here, bro? This is the right way to think. We shouldn't care what show in particular gets somebody into this medium, and neither should we care about those who wouldn't even give it a chance in the first place. Why try your hardest to push on the edgiest, least anime-like shows onto them? Because even if they like what they see, they're not going to start watching any other series because it's just anime. That's the way it is to them. Remember in my second video, I recommended a film called Redline. It stands as my defense against the subpar animation quality argument that people like to bring up against anime, as well as a way of breaking most of the stereotypes that people have about this medium. But then again, if they don't like those stereotypes, then maybe it's not for them. Thou that dost not liketh the cape, shunt liketh the tales of those adorned in capes. You wanna know what my favorite sword is? The katana. I don't wanna hear any of those arguments like it's not even a good sword or it's so overused and cliche. I just like it. The curve, the way it's used, all that stuff. One thing that got me into anime was that I saw the sword used so often, while it was really rare to see it used in Western stuff. I mean, the one show that I know it was used often was, I don't know, Samurai Jack. Aside from that, when I was a kid growing up, I had a cousin who would rent out old kung fu and samurai movies. I don't really know why, but I instantly fell in love with them. The sense of honor and pride that the samurai had, it just felt like something I wanted to emulate. And the abundance of characters like this is one of the reasons I still watch anime. Every comic is someone's first. You know, I'd like to add on to that sentence. Every comic is someone's first, but it depends on who picks it up. The artsy girl in the small town somewhere who sees Sailor Moon for the first time and is blown away by the elegant designs of the characters. The lonely only son of a family sitting in a living room flipping through channels who sees Naruto and grows to love the bonds between the characters. The two roughhousing brothers who see Dragon Ball Z for the first time and quickly emulate the super fast punching. Then their younger cousin comes in and they say, "You can be Krillin, Jimmy." And then I was all like, "If you hit me, I'm telling auntie." Wait, where the hell was I? Every anime is someone's first. From the kid who's blown away by every single twist and turn of the Soul Society arc, to the young woman who sheds a tear when Asuka makes her final stand. Every anime is someone's first. Just depends on the person who's watching. I really do have a lot more to say about this topic, but honestly there are factors that I left out purposely so I could talk about them in the future, such as this bad boy's involvement. Yeah, someday I'll do an episode about that. But for now, I'm signing out. Sayonara minasan, thanks for watching.